There's a microphone here, yeah. Okay.
Hello, good evening. I came yesterday at Lecture 2.
I know, I
asked you a few questions.
Just ask one, huh?
So anyway, I feel very neglected by BN because I honestly feel that this dialogue is a very good way where we know what the coalition would want to come out with, which policy they would emphasize. So for me, maybe I'm ignorant, maybe I don't know what is happening, maybe in this area where BN is concerned, but I really want to thank you guys for having this kind of dialogue. Thank you very much. Yesterday, I asked what are your long-term plans for Pakatan Raya, and he told me that I told us that we were going to sell GLCs and also make Petronas listed. Okay, so from what I feel, if you want to make Petronas listed, you say that you will list it and get 300 billion out of that listing. So if you want to list like that, you're evaluating Petronas as 300 billion. So is that a good evaluation, or are you just giving us that kind of hope that is not there? And also your manifesto.
One question. One question. Just want to give opportunity to others to ask a question.
Okay. Okay, for those who didn't come yesterday to my dialogue, one of the ideas we're looking at is the listing of Petronas. Yeah? This is not a very new idea. Actually, Najib considered it, but they decided not to list because they rather keep it to their own pocket. You know, they don't want Petronas to be open to the public. Yeah? They want it just reporting to the Prime Minister alone. One of the reasons why we're considering listing Petronas is one, at least it will be responsible to shareholders, which are the public, so the accounts are transparent. Yeah. Now, the main point of listing Petronas, or consideration of listing Petronas, is because we want to get back some money to the state to pay down the national debt. Now, our brother raised the issue of valuation of Petronas. The valuation of Petronas is based on the concept that the amount of oil reserve remaining in Petronas and also the performance of the development and exploration of Petronas in other countries. In particular, Sudan, in Iraq, where Petronas has a big presence, and a lot of people don't know Petronas actually has a presence in Burma as well. So based on all this valuation, we expect it to be close to about $1 trillion, yeah? The listing of Petronas worth. Now, if $1 trillion and we intend to list between 25% to 30% of Petronas, we're looking at an income of 300 billion maximum. And that 300 billion we can use to pay down the national debt, which is currently at 500 billion. So we bring it down. Maybe we won't use all 300 billion to square off. Our target is to bring it to about 400 billion national debt. So that is about 40% of the GDP at the moment. Yeah? Now that's the main purpose why we consider Petronas listing as a last resort. The first step is to decouple GLC from the government by selling it out to the private sector, so that the private sector can compete on a level playing field. At the moment, the GLCs, because we have access to the government, we get government special licenses, or government land is sold cheaply to GLC, it imbalances the whole market economy. So people in the private sector, and some of you I'm sure are businessmen here, you cannot compete with GLC because GLC always have an advantage. And when GLC has an advantage, it is destabilizing the market economy, the true function of the market. Yeah? So what we do is when we delist GLC, we hope to raise another round of money that we can use to pay down the national debt. But most important, we're going to delist it by selling it to the management. It's what we call in legal terms management buyout. We sell it to the management of the GLCs themselves rather than give to one crony like Syed Mokhtar. Yeah? You see the main difference? The government want to delist, they want to divest these GLCs, but they're selling to one person. As a result, Syed Mokhtar is going to get KTM, he's going to get Port Klang, no, not Port Klang, Penang Port. He's already got Skudai Airport, you know. He's got already the rice monopoly, he's got already the sugar monopoly. What else does he want to take? Yeah? So the best thing is, let's not create one Bumiputra super tycoon. let's try to create, and most GLCs are Bumiputra management, let's try to create 200,000 Bumiputra managers so that we create a strong middle class for the Malays. By creating a strong middle class for the Malays, they can be iconic heroes for them, and therefore the gap between the races should diminish, okay, over time. But at the same time, we have to look at how to solve the Indian problems also in terms of economic. How do we try to raise their level of economic growth? And that is another set of policies that we have. But the main thrust of the policies that we've been working on for the last 4 years, in fact, even back before 2008 election, in fact, it was started in 2007. If you look at this obscure report called the Malaysian Economic Agenda, written by Anwar Ibrahim, you go back to know it tonight, Google it, just type Anwar Ibrahim, Malaysian Economic Agenda. He already stated in 2007 the NEP must end. Because the NEP, you know the NEP, right? I mean, you know what the NEP is, right? NEP is the pro-Malay, pro-Bumiputra economic policy. He stated in 2007 that NEP must end because that has been used as an excuse to make certain Malays extremely rich while forgetting the vast majority, 90% of the Malays, you know, they didn't get a single thing. This 30% equity that the Malays, the UMNO champions, you ask any ordinary Malay, they don't have a single share in the stock market. Yeah? So this 30% idea, we are pushing aside. What we're saying is we're proposing a minimum household income for each family of 4,000 ringgit. That's our new target, replacing this 30% equity thing with 4,000 ringgit per month for each family. Okay? Okay, let's take the second question. Yeah, the answer there is can we give you a mic, please?
Thank you, Mr. Wong and Hannah. Actually, within the last couple of days, you can see the Pakatan momentum building up. In fact, yesterday, one whole day was in Johor. And in Johor, they say the tsunami is really very strong. And I and a few friends, we sit down and analyze. We just analyze all the MCA seats. They say that likely MCA will survive two parliamentary seats only. There is Aitang Vikas and Tanjung Piai Vijay Singh. Possibilities too. Who like the plain laws, the brown laws, and then Skambat Chonjumi probably will win. And then Jyoti Young is shaking in Labis. Initially he's so cocky, he's so confident, but now he's shaking. But anyway, with all this build up of momentum, some worrying development recently is Bas, Mustafa and Hariawa. They've been saying that they insist on implementing hudud law at this juncture, which I feel is not really good. And also you know that UMNO got a plan B. That is to say, even if they say capture about 70 seats, their plan B is they will get passing. Pass probably say they get 40 seats. Then 110 seats, and again UMNO will play up the racial thing of UMNO, the Malay unity and all that. And so this is a possible scenario. I'm just saying that what has Pakatan got in terms of contingency plan to deal with this possibility? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It's a good question. Now, I just want to stress to you that whatever those newspapers are reporting about hudud law and insisting on hudud law is not true. Yeah? They have never implemented hudud law in Kelantan, and they've been ruling Kelantan for 22 years. Past has been ruling Kelantan for 22 years. This issue of hudud law always comes out towards the last few days. Now, if the leaders of past did say that they want to have hudud law, they say as a dream or ambition of their part, but implementation they cannot do, and they haven't done it in Kota Baru, Kota Kelantan, they haven't done it in Terengganu, and they haven't done it in Kedah. If they wanted to do it, they could have attempted to do it, they never attempted to do it. Yeah? Now why then do the Islamic clerics of past say that they want to do? You have to understand that hudud law is a branch of Sharia. Hudud is the part where they punish people. Yeah? So if you look at a simple example is like this. Criminal law. Criminal law, you got rules, and then you got the punishment aspect. Criminal law, if you do something, you get fined $2,000. You kill someone, you get a death sentence. You steal something, you get 7 years. That punishment aspect is the hudud. Yeah? The hudud is of course a medieval law sent by God to them. God told them this is the way you should do it. So if you ask a religious Malay, he can't go against the words of God. You understand? So this is how they corner them into this kind of thing. If you imagine Hadi Awang or Tok Guru says, I don't believe in hudud law, then they don't believe in their whole being, the fact that they're Muslim clerics. Because hudud was sent by God to them in the Quran. Yeah? So therefore, we have to understand and appreciate and try to understand their position. You have to learn to empathize from their point of view. They're stuck with this idea. But they know the practical realities is, as a good Muslim, they must accept hudud. But for implementation, they cannot do it. And they cannot do it because our constitution is such that this is a secular country, and that we've got multiple races, and that we have to appreciate it. The second reason why they cannot do it, and also they realize, is that economics will not allow them to do it. Because if you put it hudud, there is a great backlash from the investing community, the business community, and they know in order to run a country, you need income, and you need to grow the economy. So they know they're not gonna rock the boat. Yeah. So those are the issues involving hudud. They will play this up for the next 6 days because the election is crucial, and they're gonna lose, and they're gonna spin it every day. I mean, today's headline, this Fernandez fellow, I've not read anything about it, but you know, it's just ridiculous in the Sun. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. You know, so the Sun also, yeah, the Sun also, yeah. And the Sun, you know, is owned by who? Vincent Tan, right? You know, right? Uncle Tan, Vinny Tan will be doing his national duty. And you know the Star is owned by MCA. So what I'm saying is, just read the sports section for the next 6 days. Okay? Just read the sports section. Seriously guys, okay, now the other stories of course that's going around is the past will abandon us. I've been working very closely, this is my personal view, I've been working very closely with past. Past has two camps, like in most political parties, yeah? You must understand there's no political party in the world that is united. Barisan Nasional got Muhyiddin and Najib fighting, plus Mahathir, plus Rosmah, 4 camps. So, DAP, you know, there's 2 camps in DAP, but that one you have to ask Hannah, I didn't say anything bad about her party. In PKR, you also have camps. You got the Tanshi Khalid and then Azmin camp. Everybody reads this, right? So I don't have to spin you a line. This is open knowledge. Yeah? Now what I'm saying in past, there is 2 camps. There is the old clerics that are pro-UMNO, some of them. And then there's the spiritual leader, Nik Aziz, who is pro-Pakatan Rakyat. And below that is a whole group of young, professional past fellas. Yeah, Khalid Samad, all that kind of things. They call it the Erdogan group. The Erdogan being the Turkish moderate leader in the Prime Minister of Turkey at the moment. Yeah? And these two are going through a transition. What I see right here, the fact that you got rid of Hassan Ali, the fact that you got rid of this Nasaruddin. They got rid of Nasaruddin, who loves UMNO. Yeah? Is the sure sign that the Erdogan is taking more influence in the party. And that is why when they come up once the election is done, the influential part will secure their position and past will remain loyal to Pakatan Raya. This is what I truly believe. Yeah? So this fear that past will somehow jump to become ultra Malay is not going to happen. What they believe in, and they believe sincerely because, you know, they believe in Islam, right? And we have to understand that. If you're a Christian, you probably understand where they're coming from. Yeah? If you're Buddhist, you understand. If you're Hindu, you understand. If you're like a Sunday Christian or Sunday Buddhist, that's different. Okay? If you are a religious person, you must understand how they feel and what they're doing. Yeah? So what I'm saying is, in this election, you have to choose 2 types of Malays to lead us. The Malays will forever lead us because their population is bigger. You want to choose a corrupt Malay, or you would prefer a coalition where one of the partners is a religious Malay. And that is the final decision you have to make in this election. Okay? Thank you.
My question is this. because right now BN is doing so bad. So it seems like we are giving hopes to us, like harapan as this talk, this session. So my question is, till now I don't hear any solid plan from Pakatan Rakyat saying that in economic perspective, likewise, Pakatan Rakyat say that promise want to demolish toll and then give free education and then maybe ask Linas to stop, and all this sum of money, where do you source from, and then which one you priority first? Because right now I don't think you can source the money from only Petronas itself. So where do you source the money to make this happen?
Okay, thank you very much. It's a good question. Now, from our experience of running Selangor, and we take a simple example of road making, we realized that in the old days of Ketoyo, the road would cost so much. What we did was, when we do our open tender, we save about 21%. 21% of the cost of building a road, and that's just a very simple example, And across the board, the management of PKNS, you could see we made about 40 million more than last year. That is a savings of about 22%. So we know if you run the administration well and you run it with transparency, you should be able to save 20% of the budget. Okay? Malaysian budget is currently at 250 billion a year. Now, if we bring the same ideas into Putrajaya, we should be able to implement a 20% saving across the board, and that will translate to 50 billion a year in savings. Now, all the other things that we promised, cancelling the toll is a separate matter, I'll deal with that later, but PTN will cost about 5 to 6 billion. Reducing targeted subsidy, reducing the subsidy for corporations will save us 8 billion. So just from the savings of managing the country, you already can save a target of 50 billion a year. From other things like cancelling the AP, liberalizing the market for cars, that you can save another 8 to 10 billion, I tell you. Do you realize there's also AP for palm oil, AP for goose? There's all sorts of licenses out there, allowing the middleman to make money. That's right. So what we have to do is just rebalance the thing, then the money goes back to the government. So we are targeting about 50 billion, and what we need to spend, if we do 100% of all our manifesto, we should be spending about 45 billion only. So we have a 5 billion margin just from the procurement aspect. Not talking about AP earnings and all that. Now let's talk about the toll. The toll issue is very simple. The toll today, you may not realize, is actually owned by us. The North-South Highway is owned by EPF. What this UMNO buggers did, they know they're going to lose. They know they're going to lose. So they jam it, the UAM sold the thing to EPF to buy. Okay? These EPF directors there, they have to answer to a lot of questions. So EPF bought it. Now, since it's our money already, do you want to keep the toll to make 6%, 7% return for EPF? Or are we willing to forego that so that it's free for the whole country? Now that is the question we have to consider. What we intend to do is we need to subsidize the whole of the toll in terms of giving a return of 7% to EPF. EPF bought it for about 40 billion, I think, around that figure. So at 7%, you're looking at, what is it? 6%, that's 6 billion a year. So 6 billion a year, we need to ensure that we pay 6%, 6 billion a year, and bring down the toll to zero for everybody. Now the principle here is this. It's not so much whether the toll is expensive or not. The toll has been going on for too long. If you remember, it was built in the 80s, early 80s. And how long more are they supposed to collect? They've already collected 4 times their returns. This is just immoral for new government to come in and say, let's extend and get your grandchildren to pay for plus highway also. So that is the main reason why we cancel the toll. Okay? Another question please.